Thank all of you for coming today. A little bit about GL Huyett, just real quick. We were founded in 1899 by a German immigrant named Guy Huyett. This is actually an actual advertisement from the Minneapolis Messenger from 1899. We were incorporated in 1906, and as such, I think we are one of the oldest continuously operated businesses in the state of Kansas. Bob Hahn and Dolly Hahn were very instrumental in the formation of the company into a kind of a viable entity from, let's say, about the mid-1970s until 1992. We operated in this building down here on South Concord. This was actually an old hotel that was at the time drugged down this Concord Street right here in the mud by horses to set up a closer spot to the rail spur. The original GL Huyett was where Robinson Monuments is at, right across the street. We grew using old mobile homes for our office spaces. In the last 15, 20 years, we've really transformed into more of a modern business. We have a very comprehensive website. We have manufacturing, a full-scale North American sales force, and then this is a facility that we have down in Collierville, Tennessee, which is in the Memphis, Tennessee area. We do manage our business with a vision to try to create systems for talent, customers, and continuous improvement. We have a strategic plan that we use to guide our way, and then an annual business plan. Among and included in that plan is a goal to make this project a $100,000 per year project in the very near future. As far as our employee life, we have what's considered by most to be a very generous health care benefit for our employees. All of our employees are eligible for profit sharing bonuses based on their performance and company profits and productivity. We try to invest a lot into our culture and our community, and hopefully our employees feel as good about working at GL Huyett as Carol and I do about them being part of our family. And if in fact that's the case, if you have any sons, daughters, husbands, wives that want to be part of our community, please contact hr@huyett.com, and we'd be happy to entertain you becoming part of the team. We do a lot of other things in the community besides Project Drive. We have a $1,000 annual scholarship for the local high school, named in honor of John Johnson, who was the Economic Development Director of Minneapolis back in 1997 when we built our facility up on the northeast side of town. We also have a $1,000 scholarship in the local high school every year in honor of Dolly Hahn and her accounting prowess back in the day. We donate all the turkeys every year for the Thanksgiving dinner in conjunction with the Salvation Army. That'll be held at Applebee's in Salina tomorrow. We donate hams for the annual Love Inc. holiday effort for people less fortunate. This year we sponsored a tokens program for the carnival, and part of that was for our employees, but part of it was also we donated tokens to Love Inc., who then distributed the free carnival ride tokens to needy families in our community. Our employees and us do some volunteer work. We support, Carol and I individually and as a company, we support annually the Ottawa County Community Foundation, and then the YMCA and United Way are also some projects as well. So a little bit more to that than this. The whole idea behind Project Drive is it's a grant concept, not a foundation. We never will have a foundation. This is all about getting money to the people that can best use the money for good purpose as quickly as possible. We have 4 criteria in analyzing or assessing the applications. One is the relevance to the project. I would say that typically we would not be interested in a $1,000 donation as part of a $100,000 project, so we want to be relevant. We want the community impact to be strong, so we do consider among the beneficiaries of the grant, how will those people individually be impacted, and if that's greater, that's more to a positive review. We also look at the legacy value. In other words, if we make this grant, how long will this project continue to pay dividends in the community? As a result of that, we do not contribute to operating funds or operating expenses. This is all about assets and equity for the various nonprofit sectors in our community. And then we do look at the application quality, although what I'm saying is there's a minimum standard there. We're not looking for slickness either. So keep it simple, but you know, we have from time to time found some applications where it's very difficult to even understand what the project was. I also want to emphasize we do not look at location, so we don't favor Minneapolis, Kansas. We, again, I mentioned operating funds, and we also don't look at the dollar value. You know, kind of surprising to me, the one thing we haven't done in the history of Project Drive is we have not yet made a really big award. You know, it seems like it has had a pattern of many awards smaller to an array of groups. That is not our strategy. That's just by the way the applications are reviewed, especially as we move in the future toward that $100,000 number. You know, it's going to be more important that we see quality big dollar applications. And so those of you that are potential future beneficiaries of this program, you know, please frame up your future expectations accordingly. The monies are awarded by our employees in a town hall format, almost like a jury, in which we review these 4 criteria and try to develop consensus. I do most years facilitate that process, but I try not to influence it because I really want our employees to feel that they're part of this program and part of the good that we're trying to do in the community. This year, we're going to give out a little over $38,000 in grants. That's up from this is our 10th year of this program. That's up from $1,000 back in 2008. Right now, if I were to chart this trajectory, I forecast that we'll be at $50,000 level in 2019, $75,000 in 2020, and I'd like to see us at $100,000 by 2021. So that's our plan, and that's part of our strategy. These are this year we affected the community of Concordia, Delphus, Ada, Minneapolis, Bennington, Salina, and Lincoln, Kansas. So we're very proud of that. I also want to acknowledge the generosity of our employees. We have a Friday dress down day where employees pay $5, and that money goes toward Project Drive, and this year that raised $1,285. So of the $38,300, $1,285 comes for our employees. I also received this today from Tom and Pat Schur, but we do want to encourage in the future donations to Project Drive. What I hope that you can appreciate if you review this is that this is a zero overhead process. There is not $1, 100% of the money goes to the charities. And you know, so we would be willing to accept donations from the public to support this program expanding, and I want to emphasize that any monies that you contribute will go in addition to. We won't reduce our corporate commitment. In fact, Tom gave me this today, and I said, no, we're going to put this toward next year because we've already awarded everything for this year. So if you ever wanted to make a contribution, just so you know, that's going to add to what our commitment already will be. So anyway, with that in mind, these are our 2017 winners. The first winner is to an organization known as the Kingdom Circle Ministries. They have a backyard Bible club. And what this is a group of volunteers that have a Bible message, a Bible study type message, usually done in story format at the grade schools in Salina. And the idea, the mission of this organization is they try to teach children that God has a purpose for them. You know, because if you can imagine in today's world, you know, there's a lot of kids running around the world that really don't realize that anybody loves them and anybody has a purpose. This organization tries to teach that, and then their ultimate goal is that those children will go home and talk to mom and dad about what they heard in their after-school Bible program. They've asked for a grant to help support video equipment. The video equipment would allow them to move more away from just simple storytelling to video type content. And so it's my great pleasure to announce that we're approving a $1,500 grant to the Kingdom Circle Ministries for the Backyard Bible Club from Project Drive. The next beneficiary, I'm getting a glare here, so I'm going to move here just a little bit. The next beneficiary is the Markley Grove Park Friends Group. This is a group of volunteers that are interested in improving Markley Grove, which is basically the city park here in Minneapolis. Markley Grove was donated by Israel and Mary Markley in November of 1910. They had two requirements. One is to keep it as a public park, and the second is don't remove any trees. I actually talked to a couple of volunteers here today, and they said that when they have to trim a tree, there's actually a process they have to go through to make sure they don't violate the mission of the park. If any of you have ever been in that park, it's one of the most beautiful parks I've ever been in. Very peaceful. I run out there in the mornings. These are some photos I saw online of just beautiful shots of the park, a winter scene, a fall scene. This particular project, they're asking for $500 for video production equipment. So in the summertime, they can show movies. They've already have a screen down there. They can show movies, so families could come down to Markley Grove in the summertime, swim at the pool, watch movies together as a family. We thought it was a great idea, so I'm pleased to announce a $500 grant to the Markley Grove Friends for movies at the park. Next is the Bennington Fun Day Committee. This is a committee of volunteers over in Bennington, Kansas. They organize an array of community events, but the most notable one are activities in and around the Bennington PRCA Rodeo in June. You can see a scene here. They do parades and various things, but they have trouble communicating with the crowds because they don't have a loudspeaker system, a quality PA system. And also the acquisition of these tents, in the middle of Kansas in June is not the coolest time of year. This would allow, them to set up a nice central communication medium to announce, parade goers and such that are going on. So we felt this is good. We also like the idea that this group is matching some funds that's coming from their organization. So out of a total cost of a project of $1,208, we're giving $1,000 to the Bennington Rodeo Fun Day Committee for a portable PA address system and some canopies. So congratulations to them. Next is the Sunset Home. This is a senior care center up in Concordia. They provide health care, assisted living, and nursing care, so they have different levels of nursing care. Prior to now, they have a very antiquated dishwasher, which requires a lot of manual work by staff, also a lot of uncertainty because it breaks down quite often. They're asking for a new dishwasher, which in addition to being reliable, this dishwasher also has a chlorine rinse feature, so that from a food safety standpoint, food security standpoint, a chlorine rinse is a lot more desired to ensure that the residents of the facility do not get ill. So it's our pleasure to announce $4,150 for Sunset Home for what they refer to as their Project Rinse new dishwasher. So congratulations to them. Next is North Salina Community Development Organization. This is a nonprofit group of volunteers, of business people and residents for the northern area of Salina, Kansas. And they do an array of community improvement projects. This is a pretty cool one. They want to develop a little libraries program. This is kind of a hot thing nationally right now. And this is where you develop these receptacles for books. A lot of the books are donated. You put them in neighborhoods. It's free of charge. It's an unlocked box so that people can borrow books, leave books. Their idea is to invest $2,000 plus a $500 matching donation from other people in their organization to buy repurposed Salina Journal newspaper boxes and use these boxes all painted up nice for their little libraries program. I think I put it, they're going to put them, I guess I didn't take that picture down. Oh yeah, here we go. They're going to put them at the bus stops in North Salina. So it's our pleasure to announce $2,000 to the North Salina Community Development Organization for little libraries. This next one is one that we really liked a lot as a committee. You're going to kind of hear a different angle in terms of how we awarded this. This is an application from the Salina Rescue Mission. The Salina Rescue Mission is basically a homeless shelter with a more ambitious goal to try to move some of these people from a homeless community to being a functioning adults, in our community. So they try to tack on, if you will, the opportunity to teach people life skills, how to earn a living, how to be responsible, that type of thing. There's a lot of transition counseling. I think they also do substance abuse counseling there as well. Their concept is to build these elevated gardens. And I never knew this until, and I guess here we are right in George Washington Carver's backyard. But elevated gardens are a lot more efficient botanically for plants because you get better aeration and drainage, less soil compaction, better weed control. Also, you can control the soil quality. You know, we have all those clay soils here. You fill these boxes up, and better pest control. They actually applied for a $3,000 grant toward half of a contemplated total project of $6,000. They've raised $882 through their own fundraising efforts at the rescue mission, and a $500 donation in kind for seeds and starter plants from Stutzman's Greenhouse. So I hope you patronize that organization in the future. We were so taken aback by this, we went back to them and said, we'll pay for the whole thing right now. We'll give you $6,000. And they said, whoa, you know, I don't think we can handle this much. So they backed it off. So they actually applied for $3,000, and we're giving them $4,500 for these elevated gardens. And what's really cool about this, in addition, if you think about it for a second, is the residents of the shelter are going to be raising these plants. So basically they're raising their own food, which, if you can imagine, gives you a sense of personal achievement and personal appreciation, as well as free food for the shelter, so you don't have to go buy it. So it's just a heck of a deal. And you know, for the GL Huyett employees and the people in the room from Minneapolis, we're kind of starting to think about maybe doing this out at GL Huyett this next spring. So Nick and I are going to work on that a little bit, but we might put together a community garden out there, raised bed kind of situation. And, you know, I'm not sure our employees need the same kind of care that the homeless people do. Some of them might, but just kidding. No, just from the sense of community, it'd be fun for us to do that. And then maybe we could, a couple times a year, have a farmer's market and maybe use that money maybe toward Project Drive. So more details for GL Huyett people on that coming soon. The next one is the local chapter here in Minneapolis of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. As I understand it, they have some adult volunteer, primarily people and teachers, that have a band called Firebrand. It's a worship band, and they play at FCA events. I think they might also play at some of the other events in the high school and grade school, if I'm not mistaken. As I understand it, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes chapter here in Minneapolis is one of the larger ones in the area, if not the state. They want some amplifiers, a mixer, I believe, a microphone, kind of an array of equipment to improve the quality of Firebrand's delivery, entertaining value, if you will, in their events. And so it's $5,226. We've elected to make this award to Firebrand, and we wish them well in their playing skills moving forward. So congratulations to them. The next one is an organization called Saline Grace. This is an organization that seeks to develop this winter a wintertime only homeless shelter in the Grace Avenue Methodist Church in North Salina. This would be basically targeted to the lowest of the low. This would be targeting people that who do not meet the check-in criteria for other homeless shelters or who have been asked to leave other shelters. They have to develop certain fire code elements along with the breathalyzer device and such to develop this space. It's a total project cost of $9,000. They've raised $4,000 year to date. We felt like this was a real worthy cause. If you can imagine, being homeless out in the wintertime, especially excruciating. And so we're giving $5,000 to Saline Grace for their wintertime homeless shelter. So congratulations to them. Next, City of Delphos. I'm not sure, I look like a village to me, but this is for the City of Delphos, our neighbors to the north. The City of Delphos has an array of community events, the most notable being Delfest. They also have an annual co-op meeting up there and an alumni high school reunion. They have troubles communicating. In fact, I think what they want is one of these systems right here, but they've asked for an audio system so that when they have Delfest and those kind of activities, they have a way to have a public address system. Based on this outfit, I'm thinking smoke signals might have worked, but anyway, that was from the parade. But anyway, so it's our great pleasure to give the City of Delphos $1,400 for a portable public address system for their community event. The next one is the Ada Fairview Cemetery Board. A lot of people don't realize, but cemeteries, you know, among other things, are sources of genealogical and historical information. And when a when a cemetery does not have a directory, you kind of look like this, trying to search the cemetery for your fallen loved ones. And so they're asking for $2,979 as part of a total project cost of $6,932 to erect cemetery directories. I mean, I'm not sure this is what they'll actually look like, but that gives you the idea. You drive in the cemetery and you can tell, you know, right away, you know, who basically is interned where. We like this project, so we've approved $2,979 to the Ada Fairview Cemetery Board for the cemetery directories. Next is the Minneapolis Public Library. There's a lot of historical records in libraries, and a lot of them no longer exist other than in photographic, microfilm type state. You know, newspapers deteriorate if they're not preserved. As a matter of fact, the ad I showed you earlier today of G.L. Huyett from 1899 was extracted from the public library here using microfilm. The current microfilm reader here is antiquated and on an old, no longer supported software system. So they have asked for $3,995 for a reader. The total project cost is $5,195, but they've got a $1,200 match from the Library Memorial Fund, which is a fund that when people pass away, they might leave the library, for example, in their estate. So obviously this is a personal experience for us here at G.L. Huyett. So it's our great pleasure to award $3,995 to the public library for a microfilm reader. Next is the Cloud County Historical Society, which their building, I believe, is pictured here. This is a museum dedicated to the history of Cloud County, which is up where Concordia is located. I don't know if a lot of you know, but there was a German POW camp there back during World War II. So there's quite an interesting history up there along with the railroad. They want to build a youth center inside their historical building. This would allow children to come there and, you know, kind of be immersed in history. Has other community uses. There's actually a $12,500 project that they're working on right now. They've requested from us $4,907 for tables and chairs. They're also using a lot of volunteer labor. The Cloud County Community Foundation has supported this. The Cloud County Co-op, as has Citizens National Bank. We like the idea of supporting children learning, and so we're awarding $4,907 to the Cloud County Historical Museum in support of their youth center for the seating and table. Next is the Lincoln Senior Center, and we're kind of designating this one as the employee donation project. We'd like to try to draw our employees closer to really making a connection from what they've donated and where the actual value is being going to. This is a senior center in Lincoln, Kansas, and they prepare noon meals and serve as a social organization for elderly people in the Lincoln, Kansas area. They prepare approximately 70 meals a day. About 30 of them are taken to people on the outside. The other 30 or 40 are eaten on the inside. You know, right now, at present, their seating consists of old folding chairs. You know, this can be problematic for older people, especially standing up and sitting down. And also, I mean, quite honestly, they're less comfortable. So their grant application is for $1,110 in support of a total project cost of $1,500 to purchase new chairs. There is another $400 match that they have coming from within their own organization. So it's our pleasure to announce on behalf of our employees $1,110 for the Lincoln Senior Center for dining room chairs. So in summary, just kind of give you an idea of the grant impact that we have this year. You know, our grants are going to increase the yield, if you will, for people with no home over at the Saline Rescue Mission. We're hoping to be able to provide opportunity to provide warm beds for people in a loving place on a cold night over at the Saline Grace Project. This is an opportunity for people at the Ada Cemetery to review genealogy and also appreciate the village of Ada while they're there. Through the the Cloud County Historical Museum, an opportunity for children to experience and learn about history. Over at the Lincoln Senior Center, we have given an opportunity here to try to create a comfortable lunchtime seating for the people in that facility. We're hopefully providing support for access to historical documents at the Minneapolis Public Library here in town. Trying to create volunteer comfort and spectator comfort in the village of Delphus and the city of Bennington with their festivals. Trying to create an elevation of teaching experience of moral codes, both at the Saline Bible program after school and also with the Firebrand experience here in Minneapolis, along with enhanced musical production for Firebrand. And then finally, free and enhanced time over at Markley Grove here in Minneapolis at the City Park. So I leave you with the words of Oscar Schindler: whoever saves one life saves the entire world. Sorry for the emotion, but I just pray that God continues to bless us and bless the people in this room so we can do more. This is all about doing more in the future. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, sorry for the emotions, but that's always the hardest thing for me to do. So I just hope that God continues to give us the wisdom and the fortitude for us to continue the path we have here at GL Huyett and the path that all of you have in your nonprofit experiences so we can make this a better community place. So thanks for being here, and I want to personally thank the GL Huyett employees for your grace and gratitude and your support of this as well. So God bless all of you. Thanks.